On the news tonight, President Buhari felicitates Christians on commemoration of the birth of Christ. Federal governments to clamp down on DJs over copyright infringements. While on the foreign scene, Ghana announces visa on arrival for all travelers. Good evening, and we're glad to have you join us on the major report. I am Olubumi Ajiboye Agbola. President Muhammadu Buhari has wished Nigerians a Merry Christmas with a promise to continue working towards leaving lasting legacies. The president said this in his Christmas message. He added that he will continue to provide political and material support to subnational governments, the armed forces, institutions, and individuals working wholeheartedly for the peace, unity, and stability of Nigeria. He highlighted the advances made so far on the economic front, especially in infrastructure, food security, anti-corruption, security, energy sufficiency, among others, stressing the need to build on them. The president noted that the season has coincided with the period of campaigns to usher in a new administration, urging Nigerians to vote wisely. He charged all Nigerians that could afford as much as possible in celebration of the festive season to also remember to share with their neighbors who indeed wish to celebrate but are lacking in resources to do so. Meanwhile, the Osun State Governor, Senator Ademola Adeleke, has felicitated with Christians on the occasion of the birth of Jesus Christ, directing the various committees in charge of rice distribution to be fair and avoid partisan considerations. In a statement issued and released to the media by his spokesperson, Malam Olawale Rashid, Governor Adeleke described Christmas as a moment that reflects the love of God for mankind, even as he justified his rice distribution program as necessary to cushion the effects of the hard time on the citizenry. The governor called for a renewed commitment to the service of humanity in line with the true teachings of Jesus Christ, stressing the need to strive at all times for the progress of the society. According to him, the season is another opportunity for people to rededicate themselves to the true teachings of Jesus Christ, while enjoining Christians to be moderate in their celebrations. Governor Adeleke called for prayer for the country, in particular Osun State, to overcome the myriad of challenges that have hampered progress and impactful governance. He assured of his administration's commitment to improving the situation by ensuring available resources count for the good of the people. The Speaker, Osun State House of Assembly, Honorable Timothy Oweya, has underscored the importance of seeking the face of God through a magnetic thanksgiving. The Honorable gave the submission while addressing the congregation who converged on the legislative quarters to identify with the fourth edition of the State Parliament Christmas Carol tagged Expression 04. Parliamentary reporter Oluwatosin Oladokuna reports.
Since the inception of the 7th Assembly, members of the legislative arm of government under the leadership of Honorable Timothy Oweya is consistently devoted to appreciate God through its annual Christmas Carol Thanksgiving. Recall that the present Assembly had our first Christmas Carol tag Expression 01. A year after was the Expression 02, followed by the Expression 03 to cap it up. The Expression 04 was also heard in the grand style. Legislative quarters, venue of the 4th edition of the Christmas Carol tag Expression 04, indeed depicted that the Saviors of the world is born. This was as a result of series of gospel songs and among other ministrations which rent the hair. At the event, the first lesson was read by Honorable Adenike Abiye, while Honorable Michael Adetoyi took the second leg of the lesson from the Holy Scriptures. In his address, Osun State House Assembly Speaker Honorable Timothy Owoye said God lives in thanksgiving. This in Moses necessitated the authority and members of the State House of Assembly to organize such an organic process to commemorate the birth of Jesus Christ the Lord. The speaker, who quoted several passages in the Holy Scriptures to illustrate how God met, delivered, and settled many battles, confronted mankind. In development, he stated the power in the efficacy of ordering magnetic priests and crosses to God. Honorable Timothy Owoye thereafter appreciated members of the 7th Assembly very immensely towards ordering the unflinching support which gave birth to the successes recorded since the program started a few years ago. In his message, the guest speaker, who doubles as the chairman of Osun's Baptist Conference, Reverend Dr. Paul Kolawole, entitled his sermon, Three Witnesses About the Revelations of Birth of Jesus Christ. The cleric, who borrowed from the Holy Bible to drive and build his point, informed the gathering that the birth of Jesus Christ was humble and appeared mysterious. This was anchored on the manifestation of God with the overall intention of drawing mankind to God. It therefore encouraged Nigerians to develop positive mindset, noting that with God, Nigeria will surely get back to our feet again. In his vote of thanks, the chairman of the Christmas Carol, Honorable Olubenga Umodipe, had acknowledged choirs and invited guest artists, just as Minister of God, who honored their invitations. Highlight of the 4th edition of the State Assembly Carol were prayer for Governors Ademola Adeleke, Deputy Governor, Speaker of the House, Honorable Timothy Owoye, members of the Assembly, as well as the people of the state in general. OSBC News.
Similarly, Senate President Ahmad Lawan has enjoined Christians to spread the messages of love, peace, hope, and tolerance that Jesus Christ preached by personal example as the world marks this year's Christmas. Senator Lawan, in his goodwill message, felicitated Christians while also assuring Nigerians that the National Assembly would continue to promote laws that will further propel development and goodwill across the country. He stated that the National Assembly will continue to promote good governance towards overcoming the nation's developmental challenges and set it firmly on the path of progress, peace, and unity. Senator Lawal added that the National Assembly has been working with the executive arm in the last 3.5 years to promote service delivery by government and all its institutions, and remains committed to raising the standard of living of Nigerians. Members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Nigeria rolled out the drums to celebrate the 100 years of Adventism in Okela, Oregon. OSBC reporter Oluchi Amoda, who witnessed the event, says it also featured the 500 million naira fund raising for the Adventist Hospital, Okela, Oregon. Our reports.
Day of joy for the members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Nigeria as they gathered for the centenary celebration of the church in Okela, Oregon, Osun State, from 1922 to 2022. The centenary celebration attracted leaders and members of the church, royal fathers, as well as other notable dignitaries from across the country and beyond. Osun State Governor, Senator Ademola Adeleke, was represented at the event by the head of service, Mr. Ayonleye Aino. The monarch of the town, Orogun of Okela, Oba Adedokun Abolarin Aroyinkeye I, was full of appreciation to God and to the leadership of the Seventh-day Adventist Church for their enormous contributions to the development of the town, noting that the history of Okela will never be complete without the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
You cannot comprehend the goodness and the greatness of the Seventh-day Adventist Church to the people of Okela.
Some of the leaders of the church, including the outgoing president of Western Nigerian Union Conference, Pastor Oyeleke Owolabi, and the president Ocean Conference of Seventh-day Adventist Church, Ede, Pastor Joseph Adebomi said Jesus Christ remains the pillar of the success the church has attained in Okela and all over the world. According to them, the Seventh-day Adventist Church will never relent in the work of evangelism, as it will continue to spread the gospel of Christ in every nook and cranny of the world.
By the grace of God, we are going to double our efforts. We are going to speed our evangelistic activities. We are going to speed the community development, manpower development, and also infrastructure development. We should renew our relationship with our God, that we will let our light to be so shine, that we should look back and count our blessings and make sure that we hold something tangible that we will pass across to the next generation.
Also speaking, chairman of the occasion, Bishop Felix Owolabi, admonished the people to always endeavor to spread the gospel of Christ with whatever God has blessed them with, adding that the Seventh-day Adventist Church is known worldwide for its evangelism of illuminating the darkened mind through Western education and propagating healthy living standard through the establishment of affordable and outstanding health facilities. In his welcome address, the chairman, Centenary Planning Committee, Elder Samuel Adedotun, who thanked God for making the day a reality, saluted the courage of the pioneers of the church in the town who accepted Christ 100 years ago, adding that the light of Christ has been shining brighter and stronger in Okela. The event climaxed with the 500 million naira fundraising for the Adventist Hospital in Okela. Oluchi Amuda, Osbc News.
The Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, has urged police personnel in neighboring states to ensure that the incessant burning of Independent National Electoral Commission's offices stops immediately. IGP Baba gave the order in Abakaliki while addressing personnel of the force as part of activities marking his visit to the state. He urged the personnel to do all within their powers to protect INEC facilities and all the public facilities in the state, adding that the mode of attack by the hoodlums is complex because they throw bombs and dynamites, among others, from distances. The IGP advised INEC to consider relocating its offices or important materials to safer places. He also proposed to the state government to allow the police to supervise and regulate activities of Ibubiagu security outfit. The Nigerian Copyright Commission says it will begin clamping down on DJs who infringe on provisions of the Copyright Act. The Commission said this as part of its renewed drive to ensure respect for copyright and address all forms of copyright abuses. According to the Commission, as a deliberate policy, it has always explored ways of supporting collective management organizations to better enforce rights, monitor uses, and collect the royalties due to their members. Director General of the Commission, Dr. John Asen, said this in Abuja at the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the Musical Copyright Society of Nigeria and the DJs Association of Nigeria. He explained that it is expected that the new copyright bill, when signed into law, would provide more adequately for the exploitation of works in the digital environment, thereby strengthening the position of CMOs and enhancing the management and enforcement of rights. The Assistant Inspector General of Police, Christy Cookie, has been described as a woman of substance and an epitome of good motherhood, whose contributions to the uplift of women, children, and safety of all cannot be overemphasized. The Osun State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Dr. Mutiu Agboke, alongside other dignitaries, gave the description at the birthday come retirement ceremony of the police boss in Oshogbo, Oluwatobiloba Odunuga, as more.
The 60th birthday celebration and retirement program of the Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 11, covering Osun and Oyo State, Mrs. Christy Cookie, attracted dignitaries from far and near, including the Osun Resident Electoral Commissioner, Mr. Mutiu Agboke, Oni of Ife, Oba Enitan Ogunwusi, Ojaja II, who was represented by Alara of Arabaye, Oba Adebisilayade, Salu of Edwabon, Oba Oladepo, Olatunji, and members of the Police Community Relations Committee, PCRC, among others, all graced the occasion. While eulogizing the birthday girl, the resident electoral commissioner, Dr. Mutio Agboke, who doubled as the chairman of the day, said AIG Cookie's contributions to the cause of women and the society at large should be emulated by all, adding that the indelible imprint in the capacity of the Nigerian police can never be overemphasized. In their separate remarks, the Oni of Ife, Oba Enitan Ogunwusi Ojaja II, who was represented by Alara of Arabaye, Oba Adebisilayade, Salu of Edwabon, Oba Oladepo Olatunji, and DCP Inage Obonoyitam, among others, described the celebrant as a disciplined woman and an excellent mother to many, and a woman full of grace and fulfillment of God's promises. In her remarks, the celebrant, Assistant Inspector General of Police of Zone 11, covering Osun and Oyo State, Mrs. Christy Cookie, who could not hide her joy, appreciated God for bringing her thus far, even in the faces of daunting challenges. AIG Cookie charged the people to always be at peace with one another, adding that it is only God's blessing that keeps a man. The event climaxed with presentation of gifts and a dance competition among the members of the force, among others. Tobiloba, Odunuga, OSBC News.
You're welcome to our sports segment. Nigeria's Flying Eagles coach, Nadan Boso, has described his team's group at the 2023 Under-20 AFCON as normal. The Flying Eagles, who are the most successful team in the Under-20 AFCON, are drawn in Group A with host Egypt, Mozambique, and Senegal. Omotaya Adiboro has more on this.
Nigeria's Flying Eagles have been drawn in a tough group along with host Egypt, Mozambique, and Senegal for the 2023 CAF Under-20 Cup of Nations. The Group A matches will be played in Egypt's capital, Cairo, and the Flying Eagles are 7-time champions of the biennial competition. Group B has Uganda, Central African Republic, South Sudan, and Congo. Games in the group will be played in Ismaila. Alexandria will host Group C teams, Gambia, Tunisia, Benin Republic, and Zambia. The top two teams in each group will proceed to the quarterfinals, while two third-best losers would also advance. The four semi-finalists will qualify for the 2023 FIFA Under-20 World Cup to be hosted by Indonesia. The competition will run from February 18th to the 12th of March 2023. In the meantime, Claudio Ranieri has been reappointed Cagliari boss more than 3 decades after first managing the club. He made his name as a manager with the Italian side between 1988 and 1991. Taking them from Serie C to Serie A. Ranieri has signed a deal until the summer of 2025 in his first role since being sacked by Watford in January. Ranieri replaces Fabio Liverani, who was sacked earlier in the week as Cagliari boss, with the club currently 14th in Serie B. Ranieri was dismissed by Watford at the start of 2022, less than 4 months in charge. He famously won the Premier League title with Leicester City in 2015-2016, also previously managing Chelsea and Fulham in the English top flight in a nomadic career that has seen him walk across European football. Meanwhile, Thomas Frank has signed a new 5-year contract at Brentford until the summer of 2025. The 49-year-old Danish manager only secured a fresh deal with the Bees in January, which was to run until the end of 2024-25 season. Frank led the club to promotion to the Premier League 18 months ago as they ended a 74-year exile from the top flight, then finished 13th last season. Brentford are 10th in the table and faced Tottenham on the 26th of December. Frank took over as Brentford head coach in 2018 after stepping up from his role as assistant to Dean Smith, who left to take over as Aston Villa's boss. Omotayo Adibodun, OSBC News.
Moving on to the foreign scene. Ghana's Minister of Transportation, Kwaku Ofori-Asamia, says the country will issue visa on arrival for travelers entering the country from December 2022 to January 2023. Kayode Adebayo has more of this.
Disclosing this in a circular to all airlines, Ghana's Minister of Transportation, Kwaku Ofori-Asamia, said the decision was aimed at advancing the government's Beyond the Return initiative. This follows consultation between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture, Ghana Immigration Service, and the Ghana Tourism Authority. The minister urged airport authorities across the world to honor the arrangement, as all those responsible for checking passengers traveling to Ghana are advised not to insist on entry visas prior to their boarding. At least 12 deaths have been recorded, with about 200 million Americans are feeling the icy grip of a massive winter storm in many parts of the country ahead of Christmas holiday. A bomb cyclone, when atmospheric pressure plummets, has brought blizzard conditions to the Great Lakes on the US-Canada border. More than 1.5 million people lost power and thousands of flights were cancelled as the vast storm extends more than 2,000 miles from Texas to Quebec. In Canada, Ontario and Quebec were bearing the brunt of the Arctic blast, with power cuts to hundreds of thousands, with much of the rest of the country, from British Columbia to Newfoundland, was under extreme cold and winter storm warnings. Heavy snowfall has been forecast in areas of Pennsylvania and Michigan, Buffalo and New York, as more than 8 million people still remain under blizzard warnings. At least 20 people have been killed after a blaze swept through a home for the elderly in Siberian city of Kemerovo, Russia. Another 6 people were injured. The entire top floor of the 2-story wooden building was gutted by the overnight fire. Initial reports said it may have been caused by a faulty heating boiler, as dozens of firefighters were deployed to the Legu private home for the elderly. The governor of the region, Civilian, said all similar facilities will be inspected and a criminal inquiry has been launched. Local fire service officials told reporters that many unregistered homes for the elderly were operating across Russia. In 2018, 60 people, including 37 children, died in a leisure center fire in Kemerovo. Kayode Adebayo, Osbc News.
Here's a recap of some of the top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari has felicitated Christians in commemoration of the birth of Christ. We also told you that the Osun State Governor, Senator Ademola Adeleke, has felicitated with Christians on the occasion of the birth of Jesus Christ, directing various committees in charge of rice distribution to be fair and avoid partisan considerations. We also brought you a report that federal government was set to clamp down on DJs over copyright infringements, while on the forensic we reported that Ghana has announced visa on arrival for all travelers from December 2022 to January 2023. And that ends the major report on OSBC TV. It was edited by Kayode Adebayo. I am Olubumi Ajiboye saying good night.
adding joy to your season with an amazing offer of 50% discount on all land sales. Worth more in the goodie bag is an installment payment plan of up to 36 months. With an initial deposit of 25,000 naira to 1 million naira, you also get freebies like a big cow, bag of rice, deep freezer, washing machine, blender, smart